The Dale Show.
Oh, big stretch.
Yeah, man. Nobody says big stretch to us as adults when we do a big stretch. So Dale, big stretch, Dale.
Yeah, and then
big
like just like
stretch.
scratch your sides
Yeah,
like a dog, so you kick your leg. That'd be awesome.
Totally. Yeah, nobody ever does that for us. Where's my
Welcome
big
to
stretch?
the Dale Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Do that.
Okay, should I go?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dale Show update.
Dale Show update. Hi, I'm Jeff.
Guess what? So we have this totally rad, awesome, totally giant thing we're gonna do next called the Box Saga, and it is for conspiracies.
Chef's kiss. Absolutely.
But the problem is it's so fucking big, it's like intimidating, and it's been so long since me and Jeff recorded. And I was like, oh, we should record this weekend because it's been like weeks. And I was like, wait, I'm not ready, because with the bigger ones, I always feel like I'm not ready, but this one I'm probably not ready anyway. So I was like, why don't we talk about all this fucking Kanye shit, because he brought up some nice conspiracy shit that we could talk about that everybody else is too scared to touch because they have normal podcasts and they just talk about regular stuff and they're not conspiracy enthusiasts like myself.
That is a nice tie-in to tonight's episode. Well done. Proud of you today. You just get
Oh,
better and better.
Thank you, sir. 4 years, I might have learned how to talk to myself and you into a computer. And yeah, so I came up with this. Oh yeah, so I guess I don't know if I told everyone why this is called the Dale Show and not like the show specific, because I didn't want to tie it down to anything. And the Dale Show's extra vague. So it's basically because I could be like, well, I want to fucking do whatever I want and not have to be pigeonholed into something. So the update is like, since we're going to be talking about stuff that's currently going on, so it might be an update of what's going on. So if you're listening to this, we're recording on October 29th, 2022. I'm telling you,
Halloween.
Oh yeah, Halloween. Oh, I pulled a little thing about Halloween out of my notes just because I was like, it's the update. It's doing timely. But I'm telling you when this is recorded because what we're talking about is timely. Yeah. Also, more news might come out about Kanye West and whatever else we talk about that we didn't touch on, and they'll be like, why didn't they talk about that? Because this Kanye West thing is constantly evolving, and everybody like, I don't know if there's anyone left to drop him, but yeah.
The memes have been precious lately of the
Anyway. All I gotta say is if this gets Yeezys out of my life, I'll be happy because those shoes have been ugly ever since they started.
Ridiculous.
And I don't want to sound like
shirts with holes in them for $3,000.
Yeah. I don't want to sound like I'm defending Kanye West because I've hated him ever since what was his first album, The Graduate, where he was dressed up as a bear.
Honestly, I'm not a fan, so this is perfect for me too.
I was listening to it in like 2005 or something, and it's like has these lyrics of drop out of college. I'm like, you're upper middle class. Of course you can drop out of college. Don't tell the kids to drop out of college, Kanye.
Yeah.
You nerd. Also,
some of us need it.
He's a very big giant nerd. And I think that's where a lot of the miscommunication comes from.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Can you tell I've had a lot of caffeine drink today?
No, not at all.
Oh, also the mustache, since it is right before November starting. I was like, am I going to do Movember this year? So I shaved to try it out. See if I'm willing to put up with this for a month.
It's dad stash practice.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrea hates it, which is a good selling point.
Allie hates it when I just have a mustache too. So
yeah.
So this is my regular mustache and beard combination. Nice. Nothing out of the ordinary here. It's a little more styled than usual, but it's not different.
I was gonna say what happened to women in the 70s that makes them hate mustaches, but I think we all know all the tragic shit that's been happening to women, and that's a whole different podcast that we're not gonna crack that in.
Unless you're Sam Elliott with a mustache, nobody else came out of the 80s with a mustache and survived. Although I hear it's coming back. Top Gun kind of brought back the young man mustache fetish again. So yeah, we'll see. The new Top Gun, not the old Top Gun. The old Top Gun, Goose had a mustache. In the new Top Gun, Goose has a mustache. Apparently, or not Goose. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Anyway, no, Maverick is Tom Cruise.
Oh, it's not Tom Cruise who has a mustache?
I don't know. It's a young hot guy that has a mustache. I don't know what the celebrities are anymore because I'm. Anyway, I do know who Kanye is, and I don't care. I never have I'm not a big rap fan. I'm not a big hip hop guy. So, I don't really have a ton to say on this. So I'm just curious as what you have to say, but I'm curious as to where this is all going. Because obviously I'm on Twitter, so I've seen it play out on Twitter, and I've seen the memes, and I have a clue of what's going on. So,
Another thing about this being an update is I don't know how long this episode's going to be, because I did some research, but it's not like the episodes of the past where they end up being 1 to 2 hours. And this one, I kind of pulled some stuff up about Kanye.
Did you listen to any audio books at all?
No, but I listened to.
So it's going to be a shorter episode then.
That's true. I did listen to multiple podcasts that interviewed Kanye, and I did take some notes that I can read out loud. I don't want to leave you guys without that.
Contemporary podcasts or podcasts that have already happened with him, previous to the issues happening?
Oh, contemporary.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's a good one he did with Lex Friedman, who I don't know if people like Lex Friedman because he's got that Joe Rogan stank on him, which makes me love him. But a lot of people won't touch him because they're like, that's Joe Rogan's boy. I can't hate all of Joe Rogan if I listen to one of his boys.
Yep. Yeah. This is one of those things. Two people can love one another and be very good friends and have opposing views on podcast taste.
That's fine. I mean, absolutely none of my friends like Joe Rogan, and I'm a huge Joe Rogan stan.
He really is.
But before we get into it, I'm just going to edge everybody and go back to, because when I was going through my notes, about, was that the cultism that led up to the Nazis where we were talking about pogroms?
Yes.
Or was that okay? Because I went through my pogrom notes.
Yeah.
To pull some stuff.
That's the Russian that started with the Russia
started in Russia
exterminating the Jews. Correct.
Yes. But anyways, as I was going through my notes, I happened upon a write-up of Halloween.
Really?
Because when we're talking about the Illuminati, it was like this occult thing that used to happen. So in the spirit of Halloween, it actually started. It was Samhain holiday. Sorry, I promise I know how to talk. It's funny that I just did that because I was trying to listen to a podcast the other day and this guy had a stutter and I was like, why even have a podcast? I'm sorry.
Because everyone has access to the same equipment to make a podcast, and people have different ways that they make it, in different ways that they do it. A stutter though, that's that's a tough one. It's
well, it wasn't like a stutter.
I don't want to make a comparison. I'm worried and scared to make a comparison to
it
that.
Was like
somebody with no arms trying to play volleyball, and now I'm insensitive.
It was like
my dream.
It was like that thing where you start a word. I guess it's like a stutter, but it's not the stutter. It's like the and then what I wanted to do was what I'm going to tell you is to tell you the truth. I honestly I don't like that kind of thing. And
it's kind of a stutter, but it's like a failure to start sentences.
Yeah, and it's like repetition. If I listen to that while I'm trying to work, I'm just gonna fucking hit every single one of my fingers with my hammer.
Yeah. I feel like that would take a long time to listen to that podcast too. You're like, okay, cool. So,
and it was about politics, so I was
you're
just dipping my toe in to begin with.
Yeah, you weren't invested in it whatsoever. You're just like, maybe I'll try this out.
I'm like, I should learn what's going on in the world just in case people talk to me, so I don't look like an idiot.
That's like, man, I keep hearing about this cool thing called heroin. Oh man, everybody makes it sound so great. Oh, I actually happen to have some. Oh, cool, let's do it. Here's the needle. Oh, I'm out. No needles for me. It sounded amazing, but I'm out with the no needle. I'm good. No heroin for me. Thank you. I'm okay. There's a needle now. Good. Okay, that's.
I feel like heroin would increase my pleasure of politics, though.
There you go. Probably. Yeah.
All right. Back to this Halloween thing. Oh, side note. I love this because people are just going to smash their phones. But somebody posted a meme about a Halloween costume for a podcast host, and it had all this list, and it said 7-minute intro, and I was like, "That's it?
7 minutes is light. That's a light intro."
Yeah. We're on 10 already.
Yeah, we're on 10. Step your game up.
Although, does that all count as an intro, or is that part of the pod?
I don't know, man. So I've listened to you for a lot of years on your podcast, and one of the things that I've noticed is it takes you a minute to get to the to the meat and potatoes of everything.
Is that bad? Should we just get into the meat and potatoes? Because I feel like half of the podcast is just the banter to dudes. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that depends what your goal is with the podcast. Mm-hmm. Do you want it to be just two dudes talking, or do you want it to be
two dudes?
Welcome to two dudes
with
talking.
The penises.
Yeah, totally. I'd kiss you. I'd kiss you. I'd kiss you. No, I'd kiss you. So yeah. It's I think there's a difference when it's a polished, professionally presented podcast.
Yeah.
It's set up like you would write a paper. It's an introduction. It's like when you write a journalism piece. It's an introduction, body, conclusion, out, fin. Get it in and done in 30 minutes and you finish, right? With professional production and brought to you by Internet Mattress Company.
That sounds
gotta have an Internet Mattress Company advertisement in there. That's the pro. Yeah. That's how pros do it.
My pod goals are basically just to make a podcast that I want to listen to, and I like all the banter and like the behind the scenes shit, so I'm not going to stop doing it. Also because it's kind of like my nervous tick where I just like talk and fill in the empty room with my voice.
Well, you have a nice voice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's the number one prerequisite for having a podcast, that and having something to record your voice.
I always feel like I don't have a very good voice, and I've always felt that way.
Jeff, you have a perfect voice.
When I was a singer in a band and stuff too, it was the same thing. I don't feel like I have a good voice, right? So like when you and Derek do the podcast, you have kind of different voices. You and I, our voices are kind of the same. So it's
so your voice is amazing.
Yeah, but it's two amazing voices, and when things are too amazing, if you have no sour to balance out the sweet, then you don't really know what it feels like, right? So
I'll try and be a bit deeper or talk like this.
So what you're really saying is when people listen to the podcast, this podcast is just like, oh, and one ear, and then in the other ear, and then they just harmony. Go over. Could you imagine if I could sing a chord? That would have been the best end to that bit.
That would have been so cool. Okay, so let's get back on task.
Halloween?
The Halloween bit first, and then we'll get on to the next.
Okay, I made it almost a sentence. Okay. So Samhain, which was the holiday for All Hallows Eve,
like
or
Samhain, like Samhain, right?
Samain. Is that what you said?
No, there's an H in there. Yeah, there's an H.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, carry on. I'll stop interrupting you.
Okay. So it's a 3-day fire festival for the dead. Samhain is the Celtic lord of the dead, a stag god, which is a reference back to Nimrod or Moloch. Yeah. Nimrod was from the Bible. These are notes that I was taking as I was listening to an audiobook. So I guess, hey, there's an audiobook in this podcast.
It's Samhain.
Oh, nice. Dude, that would be such a badass name for a band.
It is. There's a band called Samhain.
Oh,
there always has been. They've been since the 70s, I think.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that makes sense.
1983. It's Glenn Danzig's band.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Before Danzig?
Yes, correct. And before what's the first band that he was in? Oh my God, my guitar player is going to kill me for this.
Does your guitar player listen to this podcast?
Maybe.
Oh, I was going to say if he doesn't, then fuck him. But sorry, Jeff's guitar player. I am also very disappointed in Jeff that he doesn't know Glenn Danzig's previous band that probably doesn't matter too much.
Go ahead.
But
you keep talking about Samhain.
Since you brought it up,
it was a pagan festival, right?
Yeah. So it was the druids would go door to door of the nobles and say trick or treat. The nobles would provide a servant or member of the house, and in return would be given a pumpkin full of human fat to be burned, thus protecting the rest of the household from demons. Wait a second.
Yeah, sounds right. Human fat?
Give a servant? I should have probably took more notes on what they did with the servant. Yeah,
anyway.
pumpkin full of human fat. So
Delicious.
I guess, oh yeah,
that's
this
a
is
jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, so I guess they cut up the servants and use their fat for the other pumpkins.
Yep.
Oh, could you imagine? Okay.
The smell of that, it would be terrifying.
I'm imagining it smells like bacon.
Pumpkin,
like
yeah, probably.
Pig, burnt pig fat.
Long pig.
Yeah, long pig.
It's the Misfits. The band is the Misfits. I don't know why I missed that or how I missed that.
What?
Yes, Glenn Danzig started the Misfits. Then he had Danzig.
Oh my god.
Sam Hain, Danzig, and the Misfits.
Oh my god.
What?
Of course, Misfits is like his most famous band. We should have known that.
I should have. I was gonna say it, and then I was like, I better double check this.
Because before this happened, we had old guy cool cred. Now we're just old guys.
Yeah, we lost our old guy cool cred. I knew this. I knew that. I lost confidence in myself. As you get older,
and Last Caress is such a good song.
So good, so good. As you get older, you start to lose your cred for this kind of thing. Like the other day, I was listening to just pop radio, and I'm like, "Who am I? Who am I?
Pop radio.
Pop radio, mother." Anyway,
back to this pumpkin full of human fat that may or may not smell delicious in my house.
pumpkin spice long pig.
I want to say I'm glad I'm probably never going to find this out. And unless the apocalypse happens and we just run out of regular wax for candles.
That's true. The reckoning comes. It is it's time to make old school jack-o'-lanterns.
So if these nobles wouldn't give up a servant, the treat, as you will, they would have a pentagram inside a hexagon painted on the door, and this would attract the demons. So basically people were bribing the druids to get this candle that they would burn, pumpkin full of human fat that they would burn, and then the druids would leave them alone. Or they would paint a pentagram on it, and then the demons would come, or vis-a-vis drunk druids later in the night throwing eggs and probably toilet paper at them. If they had toilet paper back.
Spoiled vegetables, I'm pretty sure. Spoiled vegetables and eggs, like rotten food from the house.
From everything I know about this time period, all the food was just rotten.
Yeah,
that's why everybody was in such a bad mood.
Yeah, if it wasn't fresh, it was old. It's like,
yeah. If they didn't pick it and then eat it 10 seconds later, it was all gross.
Got moldy and disgusting.
Okay. Sacrifices were gathered and given the chance to bob for apples. That would be the servants as the sacrifices. Okay, I'm gonna start the sentence over. Yeah, on the end of the sentence. So I got to read the sentence start to finish. So the servants are the sacrifices. So that answers my previous question of if they were sacrificing these people. So sacrifices were gathered and given the chance to bob for apples in a boiling cauldron. If they failed to get the apple, they were beheaded. Those who refused to try bob for apples were sacrificed in a fiery death. They were taken to a giant Wicker Man statue and burned, just like Nicolas Cage. Did you ever see Wicker Man?
I did, yes. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Burning Man is actually a reenactment of the ceremony.
Yeah.
I mean, they probably, I haven't been, I'm not an electro hippie in the desert who does drugs and looks at girls' boobies as much as I want to sleep in sand. But I don't think they bob for apples in boiling water.
Yeah, that seems a little extreme.
Yeah.
Even for Burning Man.
Yeah. And the reason they did this was the veil to the spirit world is the thinnest on Samhain, right. And the departed souls of loved ones can walk the earth and use the fires as a guide, a secondary use for the Wicker Man fires. So this is also like in line with Deus de Muerte in Mexico and Southern America.
Yeah.
So that's what Halloween was. I hope you guys like your friggin' pagan sacrificing and human candle enjoyments.
I think people love Halloween, man. I think your point there was like, you're like, I hope you love Halloween. Everyone's like, we fucking love Halloween. There's people whose entire personality is Halloween 24/7. So
it's true. Actually, this year I don't have the Halloween spirit.
I do. I drew a Halloween thing on my door.
Nice.
I posted it on the Twitters yesterday. I drew like a Halloween themed picture on my door. We're all dressing up on Monday for a Halloween competition at work. So,
what's your costume?
My costume, I'm just dusting an old one off. It's just so you might like this one. It's like a Venetian, like a black and gold gilt Venetian filigree mask with like a long kind of
like from Eyes Wide Shut.
Like from Eyes Wide Shut. Yeah.
How dope is this work party?
Oh, it's gonna yeah, it's gonna get weird.
Is this a sex orgy?
And then a robe and stuff. Yeah, it's very much Eyes Wide Shut. It's very masquerade-y. Yeah. So I got this like a balaclava that has just my eyes. Like it makes my head all black entirely.
Oh, nice.
And I put the like long snouty thing on, and I put this big hood and a robe with like big sleeves.
Dope.
It's pretty scary. You can't tell that it's me. So that's
awesome. Fun. You're gonna have the sweatiest head.
So sweaty. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not I have a 12-year-old child. I'm in the Halloween spirit, baby. Woo.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know why I don't have the Halloween spirit. I think it's just like all the bad shit that's happened over the last 3 years, and just like probably like looking into occult shit and all the dirty podcasts I listen to where I'm just like, oh, there's
you've been soiled on Halloween. It's like it's too pagan for me. I can't handle this. My Christian upbringing is everything that this is not.
Yeah. The weird thing is, now this is actually pertinent to the podcast, is because I think Kanye West is actually black pilled at the moment, and we talked about the pills before.
Pills.
And I feel like to be white pilled, you almost have to embrace some sort of religion. Not specifically Christianity, but you have to believe in like the goodness of people to like
totally the basic
against
building
evil.
Yeah.
And like the more you look into conspiracies and occluded history and all that shit, the more it seems like there's more to it than just money and power. Like it almost seems like there's some of this weird darkness driving people. So it almost seems like I honestly believe society is better with Christianity, not because I want, like, I believe specifically in God and Jesus and stuff, but I feel like people behave better when they like think a parental figure is watching them, so they can't get away with doing bad shit with no repercussions. And to me, that's what I always thought Christianity was just a method to control people.
Well, that's entirely what religion is. I mean, I see what you're getting at. I disagree that it's necessary, but I see what you're getting at. Like, if you have those basic tenets of like, don't kill anybody, don't fuck your neighbor's wife, don't steal your cows from other people, or like the basic building block pieces, right? Like, don't do these certain things or whatever, right? Like, this is how to be a good human being. Doesn't necessarily need to be religion based, but it just happens to be one of the core tenets of most religious beliefs is here's where you start. It's when the extreme religion things start happening, like they're going one way or the other way, or they fuck it up, right? Like I see your point there. If religion was less extreme, then maybe there would be a chance that would work.
Actually,
like religion can't even like,
basically the reason religion fails.
I could go, I stalled, my brain shut down because I was having 76 thoughts at the exact same time.
Yeah. To me, the reason religion fails is the same reason communism fails. It's not because it's a flawed system. It's because it's led by flawed men or women, and they always get greedy and they always want more than they should. Yeah.
Literally a second ago, you said it's not about right. You just said it's not necessarily just power, it's also religion. But religion allows people to gain power, right? Yeah. It allows people to gain power, and people that shouldn't have power, it gives them that ability to have that power. And I think that's one of the major flaws, right?
Actually, I was listening to a podcast. Fuck, what one was it? Oh, it was
Joe Rogan. Just a guess.
No, actually, it was Sam Tripoli,
Okay.
who was talking to Ari Shafir, who is one of Joe Rogan's boys, and Ari Shafir just released a stand-up special called Jew, where he like he's like a stand-up comedian and he jokes about the Jewish religion and stuff. And he brought up these things called the 7 Noahide laws, which are the 7 laws of Noah or something. And it's like the laws that the way he explained it, it sounded like it's 7 laws that will get non-Jewish people into heaven according to the Jewish faith.
Okay.
And I'll read these to you because they're actually a good.
Is it a good segue? Just all do this, is it a segue to the Kanye thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything Jewish is a segue to the Kanye thing.
Roger that.
So the first rule is do not profane God's oneness in any way. Okay. Acknowledge that there is a single God who cares about what we are doing and desires that we take care of his world, which is similar to the 10 commandments, where it's like, put no other gods before me and stuff. I don't that one that doesn't help society. You don't have to like be like there's only one God, blah blah blah. That's actually where all the fighting comes from. Yeah. So
but my God and our gods are different.
Yeah.
And my God is better, and my God is the only one God.
So on the first point, I'll contradict myself and say that the first Noahide rule is not going to help society run better.
Cool. You're already finding holes in your plan.
Okay, so rule number 2 is do not curse your creator.
God,
no matter how angry you may be, do not take it out verbally against your creator. So don't take the Lord's name in vain. We can live without 2. So that we're already down to 5 Noahide.
I'm from French Catholic people. Like half our words are about Jesus and fuck in the same sentence.
Let's have a nap.
Everything is church. It's church-based swearing is like core tenet of our beliefs.
Well, I don't know if you got the memo, but a lot of Catholics are actually bad.
Oh, I got the memo.
Okay, so the first 2 rules, you don't really need them to get into heaven. So
5 out of 7's pretty good.
3's actually a good one that's going to stick, I promise. And that's do not murder.
See, I even mentioned that one at the start of the thing here.
So we need this one for society to be good and work and the trains to run on time, even though we don't really use trains. Right. We need a new metaphor for society running smoothly.
How about society?
I always say the spice must flow.
You just said it. The spice must flow. You do say that quite frequently.
But you have to have read Dune or seen old Dune.
Or understood or know about Dune for sure. Yeah. The spice must flow. How about it is what it is?
Mm-hmm. And the value of human life cannot be measured. To destroy a single human life is to destroy the entire world. All right, that's a bit extreme, but I get it. Because for that person, the world has ceased to exist. Oh, okay, that makes sense. It's almost poetic. It follows that by sustaining a single human life, you are sustaining an entire universe. I kept wanting to put human in there. Okay. It follows that by sustaining a single human life, you are sustaining an entire universe.
Okay.
This goes very well to my arrogant vision of myself.
There you go.
Now that there's a fucking entire universe inside of me.
Does that make me a planetoid revolving around you?
That makes you another universe.
Does that mean I'm inside you? If you're the universe, I just am in you.
Dude, I just forgot the word narcissistic for like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was like gonna bring it up and I was like, wait, I can't remember that word.
What that word is.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that accurately describes me as a person.
Yeah.
I don't think you're a narcissist.
No, I am now that there's a fucking universe inside me.
Now that you know you're a universe. Now that I know I'm a universe, well, fuck yeah.
Sorry, Jeff.
Okay,
if you thought I was obnoxious and self-centered before.
You know, I've never thought that. Yeah, it's gonna get worse now. Now that you're a universe, we're all fucked.
The universe inside me. I'm a fellow of the universe, baby. You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
I'm gonna write some shitty love songs about it.
Oh, yeah, John Mayer
with myself. Yeah. It's gonna be all Oasis.
Your body is a universe.
Okay, so do not murder on the list.
Done. Can do or not.
Number 4, do not eat a limb of a still living animal. This is fucked up. That's fucked. For them to have to come up with this rule makes me think some weirdo fucking shit was going on. Like they would just like cut off the leg of a cow and keep it alive and then eat the leg.
Earlier to our point about Sam Hain, earlier when you're talking about the food and stuff and how things aren't fresh, in order to keep an animal fresh back in the day, right? You want to keep it alive. So you eat the limbs off of it first.
Oh,
right.
Jesus
So if
Christ.
it's still alive, it'll be fresh meat in the next day or the next 2 days or the next 3 days while it's still alive. So you pull a limb off, you eat a leg first. You eat
you know what?
And don't kill it immediately.
I'm gonna say it.
Go ahead.
Maybe St. Patrick is the good guy for driving all the druids out of Ireland. Maybe those snakes deserve to die.
No, I just
fucking boiling people's faces.
I can't believe he didn't put those 2 and 2 together. That's if that's Sam Hain and that's early Judaism, then that's absolutely to keep an animal alive and you hack a limb off and then it's still fresh for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Right?
And the reason you do this,
you got one goat and you need to eat. You got to take a leg off that goat and it can still hop around on 3 legs.
Goat jerky, my friend.
Goat jerky. It's the only way.
Respect the life of all God's creatures. As intelligent beings, we have a duty not to cause undue pain to other creatures.
Yeah. See, I'm a vegetarian, so this all applies to me. I could easily skate into heaven right now.
So much better.
Easily skate into heaven.
Number 5 is do not steal. Sorry, ladies, who I stole the hearts. I was
just gonna say, like, the hearts count.
Hey, yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Whatever benefits you receive in this world, make sure that none of them are at the unfair expense of someone else.
Okay.
That's good though, because not because if you steal from someone. Yeah, not because if you steal from someone, your soul's going to be tarnished or anything. But if you steal from someone else will know and get very pissed off and beat you up, and then society won't run.
Right.
And then the spice won't flow. Yeah. Harness and channel the human libido, which is good. I agree. In my 20s, I would probably be rich right now if I didn't waste half my fucking life worrying about how much women liked me or trying to get them to kiss me on the mouth or let me touch their boobs.
I'm down with harnesses. What? I missed that whole part. I was thinking about harnesses. Yeah.
Oh.
Harness the libido.
Okay, what I just said about me not being able to harness my libido in my 20s, it's not in reference to what this law is. So this one is harness and channel the human libido. Incest, adultery, rape, and homosexual relations are forbidden. Well, I guess we've changed our mind on that last part. We got to take this rule out too, or just take the homosexual part out. I mean, it's fine, whatever. I don't get why they were so. I think it's like back then there was like, to get really real, there's like when you do someone in the butt with penis, there's a bit higher chance of tearing. And back then they weren't cleanly and their dicks were all covered in garbage and sand. So that if you tore someone's butt, they would get an infection and die. So back then it makes sense. But now we have fucking KY and showers in every home.
I was thinking of
clean water.
I was thinking a lot more practically in that religion is against homosexuality to create families, like to make more people so that they could pay more tithes to the church. I was going like they're less about homosexuality as a sin and more about like, well, then they're not making more people to pay money to the church.
That's true. I was thinking this was more like with the whole don't eat pigs and shellfish.
Yeah, it's the cleanliness
because they were in the desert and you'll get trichinosis and like food poisoning. And it's like you're in the desert for 40 years. It's not like your dick isn't covered in sand because it just gets everywhere.
I would assume it would be. Yeah.
Yeah. The family unit is the foundation of human society. Sexuality is the foundation of life. And so nothing is more holy than the sexual act.
See, yeah, I mean,
if you're doing it with me,
if you do it with Dale, you'll see angels. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So too, when abused, nothing can be more debasing and destructive to the human being. All right, so this one's half on the list because I'm okay with we got to be okay with the homosexual thing.
I'm 100% okay with it.
Some kinks are okay. I'm not going to be the guy who says which ones aren't okay because I don't want any hate coming back on me. But I would say if anything makes your health less, that's bad. So don't cut your arm off sexually or something. I don't know.
I'm not kink shaming anybody. You do the sex you need to have, and you do it with whoever you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to be sex positive. Kink it up, man. Make it happen.
Hey, especially on Halloween. Just don't make bobbing and boiling water part of that sexual act.
That's not cool. That nobody thinks that's cool.
Okay, and number 7 of the no-hide laws, the final law, or 5th of the ones we're actually going to keep for our made-up society.
They'll chuck it out about the other ones.
Yeah, fuck the God ones, whatever.
Yeah,
we can make it through without those. I mean, although I do have a universe inside me.
Dale does have a universe inside him.
Okay, I'm going to have to go to the drawing board and figure out a way to reword 1 and 2 so that everybody, when they're talking about God, they're talking about themselves. And then maybe the creator is their parents because they shouldn't talk bad about their parents because their parents gave birth to them, and respect for your elders. Okay, we fixed it. We're back to 7.
Dale fixed it. We got 7 again.
The true God is inside everybody, and it's your own pool of spirituality, and that's what you got to harness and increase. So you don't want to. Yeah. Okay. We're back up to 7.
Okay.
So number 7 is establish courts of law and ensure justice in our world. Which is, I mean,
I was
out of left field. It makes sense.
I was thinking about how broken the court systems are. Right? How it's, I mean, again, is that necessary? I have paint on my hand. Sorry.
Oh, we definitely need court systems. Even if ours are shitty and broken, we should fix them instead of get rid of them.
Right.
So okay, this is their explanation. With every small act of justice, we are restoring harmony to our world, synchronizing in a supernal order. That is why, what?
Good word, supernal.
I know. I was like, I'm going to flub this.
No, you got it.
Nailed it. Then I flubbed that instead.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
Classic Dale.
That is why we must keep the laws.
You okay there?
I thought it said established, then established. So I thought there was a missing comma in what I was reading. But no, I can't read and talk. So, but anyways, that is why we must keep the laws established by our government for the country's stability and harmony. Those are the 7 Noahide laws. And now that we're fucking 50 minutes in, let's talk about Kanye.
All right. Let's talk about Kanye.
Because Andrew was like, how long are you guys going to be doing the podcast today? I was like, I don't really have very much information on everything, so it probably won't be that long, but.
Well, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess
later.
We got to talk about what Kanye did so those people who are living in heaven, who haven't been hearing about this nonstop for the last 2 weeks, can catch up.
All right.
So on Twitter, Kanye wrote, going DEFCON 3 on all caps Jewish people. And everybody was like, what? And then everybody was like, well, that's anti-Semitic. Why would he say that or whatever? And then he went on the Drink Champs podcast, which they took down, but he said a bunch of anti-Semitic things. And he said what he was talking about was how Jewish people run Hollywood. And he said that Jewish lawyers and stuff are all in cahoots and stuff. And the shitty thing is Kanye's onto something. The problem is it's not that everybody's Jewish. I feel as a conspiracy enthusiast, there is people pulling the strings behind the curtain. That doesn't sound sense. Behind the scenes, there's people pulling the strings. And that's how
puppeteering works.
The funny thing is, the New Yorker, as a joke, since everybody's dropping Kanye, they published an article saying the Illuminati is
dropping Kanye also.
Yeah. Wait, where is this?
When
Oh,
Dale
sorry,
says
here.
when Dale says that people are dropping Kanye, he's referring to clothing lines and
Oh, we'll get into it.
that-
We'll get into it.
No, okay. I just wanted to make sure.
I got a
just
list of
yeah.
everything. Yeah.
In case you were
Sorry.
living under a rock, the
I was
people, the businesses that help Kanye make money are dropping him and they're letting go. Yeah.
So what I want to do is I want to read the post that the New Yorker put up, because it kind of hits the nail on the head, and they were joking, and I don't think they meant. So this is on the Illuminati severing ties with Kanye West. This is satire. This is a joke. I'm not saying the Illuminati is real, even though we did 2 episodes about it, and you should listen to them. So the Illuminati detest bigotry in all its forms, and West's statements regarding Jewish people have been particularly disturbing to us, as our deep state organization prides itself on the inclusion of members of all faiths and ethnicities, who come together to be the unseen architects of the world's wars, influence international markets, and decide which behavioral patterns should be subliminally suggested through blockbuster films. West's sole attribution to the Jewish people of a widespread conspiracy to control society is a detestable lie, offensive not only to those of the Jewish faith, but also to this diverse, power-hungry cabal. So that kind of hits
joke. Yeah,
right on the head, because
totally,
to me, that's true.
Yeah.
And Kanye West, like, and the reason I wanted to talk about this so bad is because Kanye West brings up some things that people should maybe start talking about, but it's less about which faith people are and more about old money, new money, and who has established almost behind the scenes, like, artistic empires, and who they want to let in and stuff. And so, the weird thing is, sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just thinking about this. So I've been watching a series on Netflix for a while. It's just that sports one, and it has like all these, like, the one I watched most recently was the America's Cup one. Mm-hmm. And you're just talking about like old money. So I don't know, the story of the America's Cup is it's this boat race that was started in the US in the 1800s, and the US has held the cup of that competition. Like, it's old money, old boat research. There's millions and millions of dollars going into this research to like race these boats in this race off of Newport, Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. And international teams challenge to face the United States to race a boat against them in a series of races. Yeah. And like, the US has always had this title. Australia won it one year, and then the US won it back, and I think the US has only had it since then. But you're talking about like this old money thing, and it's like, even watching that show and you're looking at these people at the New York Yacht Club people, and you're like, it's all old money. It's all, those are the people that pull the strings. Those are the people that control everything. Those are the people that like have all the cash and have all of the interests and have all of the research and have all of the money to be able to throw ungodly amounts of ingenuity at a boat to win a race to hold a cup for themselves. It's like the most bizarre microcosm of this whole thing.
Yeah, and it's like the weird thing about what Kanye was talking about is he like, one thing that fucks conspiracy theories a lot is correlation is not causation.
Right. Yeah.
So what he was saying on these podcasts, like the aforementioned Lex Friedman podcast and Drink Champs, was that his lawyer was Jewish and fucked him over. And then his agents were like, and then like someone in the fashion industry like stole his talent out from underneath him. And he was saying the people who did this to him were all Jewish. So that is what led him to believe that all these, and then he was saying that the reason Jewish people have all the money to behind the scenes was that, according to him, olden times, I think he was talking like turn of the century, like 19th century, not this last one.
Right.
But I think he was talking about how lawyers who were Jewish could do divorces, whereas Christian and Catholic lawyers weren't allowed to, because you weren't allowed to religiously divorce each other.
Yeah, you have to do an annulment.
So what he was talking about was like how Jewish people took advantage of an opportunity to make money where Christians couldn't. And this harkens back to one of the other reasons, like the pogroms. And when I was talking about going through my notes, I wanted to go back to when we were talking about the not the Illuminati, the Freemason, not the Freemasons, sorry.
Damn, man,
the Templar Knights.
You just misplaced that red yarn on like three different places.
I gotta get another roll. So anyways, the Templar Knights in 1307 were kicked out of France because King Charles VI owed them money.
Right.
And you're like, and anecdotally, when you're researching the Templar Knights, he also the year before in 1306 kicked all the Jewish people out of France because he owed them, because they were the only people who could lend him money, because the Christian faith people weren't allowed to lend money back then.
Yeah.
And he owed the Jewish people so much money that it was basically lose the kingdom of France or trump up all these false charges and all this false hatred towards the Jewish people to kick them out of the country. So this is kind of what Kanye was talking about, where it's like, and it's like, it's just a historical fact that back then Jewish people were lending people and making money off of them and making interest and stuff. And it's like, that doesn't make
religious connotations, not necessarily any other reason.
That doesn't make the Jewish faith bad, because at the same time, Christians were going to the Levant region and trying to fight crusades and stuff. Sorry, that was right before this period, where they were more of the, we're going to go into your land, take over your religious buildings and steal all your religious artifacts and get wealth that way. Whereas at least the Jewish people were nice enough to lend you money in the first place.
There you go. Yeah.
And then, so Kanye West does this, and then the other thing he said that was anti-Semitic was, he said Planned Parenthood is the Holocaust of Black people, which
I didn't know that one. Ooh.
It's terrible to say. But he's on the same page as Candace Owens, where there's this like conspiracy theory that Planned Parenthood is population control of African American people, because so many impoverished African Americans go to Planned Parenthood and get abortions. So what Kanye West was saying was, so many abortions have happened on Black people that it's more people than died in the Holocaust. But the problem with this is
still, again, it's not,
those people chose to have those abortions, and by having those abortions, a lot of the time they've been kept out of poverty because they basically didn't have another mouth to feed.
Right.
And so it's not two things that you can compare. It's just, but at the same time, when people hear that, they should be like, wait, what is the true like point of Planned Parenthood, and is it affecting African American people, the African American population, more than the other population in America? Should, instead of just piling on Kanye, which we should do anyway, because what he said is idiotic, but people should also at the same time being like, okay, let's look at the science behind this and see if there is something nefarious going on, which I doubt. But
it's a very Dale approach to it. But I see what you're saying. There very well could be other things going on. There very well are other things going on, but it doesn't give him the right or carte blanche to say. I probably shouldn't use carte blanche. That's terrible. It doesn't give him the right to say what he's said either. And right?
At the same time, he brings up the Tuskegee incident, and
that's a Dale thing.
And if you're not familiar with the Tuskegee incident, that was when I think it was the CIA or the US government gave African American people syphilis to see what would happen if it went untreated. And they basically sprayed them down with like gases and stuff, like sprayed a Black neighborhood with it. And this is where chemtrails and all those conspiracies stem from, is from this. And he also brings up redlining, which was this thing that I think it was like part of the Jim Crow laws sorry, this is the stuff I should have been fucking researching.
Researching on. Okay.
What happened was the redlining was a way to keep African American people from buying houses, because that's the best way to gain generational wealth is you buy a house, you pay into it, and then when you're old and retire, you sell the house or give it to your kids, and within a couple generations, you'll have a whole bunch of extra money. That, and to go on a side note, that would be the reason why we're getting away from home ownership right now, where you have places like BlackRock buying up all these houses and stuff. But I don't want to get into that. Because that's besides the point. But my point is, if Kanye West were to bring up these things as systems that were put in place to hold back African American people, he could have actually got some traction with it. And people could have looked into it.
Instead, he chose to speak ill of
go
Jewish
nuclear.
People. And that's not
and
really
say
like
dumb shit.
Say dumb shit instead.
Like what he should have did was
it's
said
ignorant.
the
It's
Illuminati.
Ignorant shit, right? But that's nothing new from Kanye West, right? So.
And at the same time, he keeps saying that he is also a Jew, because people are Jewish people are the people of God or something. And since all people came from Africa is one evolutionary theory. I don't know how true that is. Stay tuned for the box song. I will talk about it.
Dale, that's a nice introduction into the next edition of the Dale Show.
But like he's saying, so by default, all Black people are Jews as well. And it's like, so he's trying to be like, since I am a Jew, I could say Jew thing. And it's like not really working.
Dude, that's not how that works anyway.
And then,
oh my God. I don't know what to tell you about Kanye West. Like, I think the number one thing is that his whole goal is just to get attention, and he's doing it extremely well. If you and I are talking about it on this podunk little podcast, no offense, just two guys talking about it on a Saturday night in their rooms, it's like he's obviously doing this for a reason. I don't know. I can't help but to think that there's like an end game behind this as well. He's sure maybe he's mentally ill, maybe he is not participating at the same level that we're all doing, but maybe he's also gearing up towards something.
And like what you say makes a lot of sense, because earlier in the month, before he said the Jewish things, he was already in trouble for at the Paris fashion show. He had on a shirt that said White Lives Matter, and then a lot of people freaked out, and then he didn't actually explain why he was wearing that shirt. And what he later said on the Lex Friedman podcast was he was talking about how the BLM organization, not the movement, but the organization that took the name, was actually pretty corrupt and was funneling money straight to the Democrats. And since Kanye West is a Republican, he's always saying how stuff is like Republicans are being silenced and stuff. That's actually why he bought Parler. He said it was, actually, I got a quote on this.
And that's part of it too.
He bought Parler after he got kicked off Twitter. And he said he's buying the platform to ensure people with conservative opinions have the right to freely express ourselves, was a quote from him. That made up oppression bullshit. He bought a social media platform so that his extreme view has a place to talk. The problem is, if you look at it scientifically, like I don't want to pick a side in this argument, but there is a lot of conservative views are like, it's mostly because conservatives are fucking batshit crazy. And when they start saying stuff, people get scared, and then they get the ban hammer and maybe go a little overboard just because they're scared of what could brew eventually. Because if people are on the left get carried away, then they're just trying to make safe spaces for everybody. But if people on the right get carried away, then they're trying to like take away social funding and all that stuff.
No more abortions.
And then what he was saying about Black Lives Matter was also, he actually had a really good point. He said that showing the video repeatedly of George Floyd was kind of a macabre way to drive the BLM movement, or not the BLM movement, the BLM organization, and they actually made like millions and millions of dollars, and then they bought a bunch of houses and stuff. So he was like, he never said it outright, but he was kind of saying how him wearing the White Lives Matter shirt was kind of this commentary on how Black Lives Matter kind of co-opted a movement, and the organization tried to make money out of it. But since he's Kanye West, and he's like,
nobody put that together,
all up in his
it's
head,
all in his head. Yeah,
he never explained everything, because he's always just like, I'm such a genius, people just know what I'm talking about and stuff. So if he would have like,
that kind of backfired on him a little bit. If there's a bit of an explanation or a bit of a preamble to that, or like some sort of, this is marketing 101. You roll it out slowly, and then you appear with the big kaboom at the end, right?
Yeah. And it's like, if you look at Kanye West's track record, he is very good at getting people to want stuff, because somehow he knows what people are going to want type in the future, like Jeff was saying, and he rolls it out slowly. Like Yeezys was all limited.
Dude, all that shit that he did with fashion was all, he created the hype beast thing, right? Like the reason that like Bape and Supreme and all those streetwear brands that have these limited engagement drops at all, that like, as much as I hate to give that to him, that came from Kanye creating it's false exclusivity, right? He made that, he made that scarcity product, right? You can only get this, there's only going to be 20 of these, and they're only going to be dropped on this date, and that's it. And then once they're gone, we'll move on to something else, right?
Yeah.
And only the cool people wear them, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah. And so, and the weird thing was like how he was saying that these people, I'm just going to say these people, control things behind the scenes and stuff.
Oh, these people, Dale?
Okay, I'll just say the Illuminati control stuff behind the scenes. They were helping him a lot, because when I go through the list of all the people who dropped Kanye, you're like, oh, I didn't know they were all working with him. What were they all doing? But it's like,
yeah, that was weird, man. That stat that I saw, that he was a billionaire a couple of weeks ago, and now he's no longer a billionaire because of the loss of some of this income and the potential future income. It made his wealth smaller. It shrunk him into the millions, but still high millions, right? Like 500 millionaire or whatever.
Yeah, which fine. He'll be okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be fine.
So we'll go through the places that have dropped Kanye.
Okay.
Now, I got this list off of Axios.com. So if you want to go read more about it, go there. But they had the name and then a little saying. So Balenciaga, Kering, the parent company of luxury fashion house Balenciaga, told the fashion publication Women's Wear Weekly last week that it severed ties with Ye. I fucking hate Balenciaga.
What? Yeah, nothing.
These are those fucks that made $12,000 Crocs by putting studs on them and turning them into boots. These people,
that's what those
not only
Yeezys
shouldn't work with Ye, they shouldn't be working, because they make ugly shit and then just charge for it.
Yeah, well, that's
it makes me so mad when it shouldn't bother me at all, because it has nothing to do with me.
Like
and no effect on my life.
You're not the target market of that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Which is funny, because I seem like a guy who would like Crocs.
But definitely do, but not high-end Crocs.
I rallied against Crocs way too hard when they came out by how ugly they were, when I still cared about what I look like in public. That by how hard I went through at them 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I can never buy them.
Yeah.
Because
you ruined it. So my son wears Crocs.
It would be like milkshake cool again.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. My son wears Crocs because they're cool now for the kids to wear. So he's got a pair, and he wears them all the time.
I do have slides with butterflies on them.
I have Skechers foamies and their woodland camo because they were like $5.
Nice.
So they're like super on sale, so I bought them.
Yeah.
And they're terrible. They're my barbecuing shoes.
Yeah, and like Crocs make sense. Like I wear flip-flops and Tevas all the time, and they're very comfortable. It's just when I cared about what stuff looked like back in the day, I rallied too hard against Croc, and I complained to all my friends, so now I can never own them.
You can't do it, because then somebody's gonna be like, hey Dale, remember that time 15 years ago when you said Crocs are dumb? Now you got them on your feet.
It's not even that anybody else would know. It's that I would.
You'd know. In
my universe that's inside of me, I would know the injustice.
Inside that universe, the Dale cinematic universe, he wears Crocs in that universe. Oh man! All right.
Plus, do they stink? Like, do they get slimy?
I don't think that they do. I think that's the whole jam behind them. Is they're like because they're open and they they don't have they have holes in them and they breathe and they're not like flip-flops that get like super stinky and you got to throw them out after a couple of years.
Yeah. I'll have to do a loophole and just get some other knockoff
a Croc experimentation.
Also
I'm doing this for science. I'm wearing Crocs for science.
The weird thing is that native brand shoes.
Yeah.
How is anybody comfortable wearing those? Like, I'm just bringing that up because they have
there's people at our office that wear
step
them
up for Crocs, and they're like $50 Crocs, and they're called native.
Expensive. Yeah.
And it was funny because my girlfriend Andrea is part Indigenous, and I was talking about native shoes or something. She said, "What are you talking about?" Like she thought I was being mean and racist. I was like, "No, there's a label called native," and she's like, "Why would they name their shoes that?" I'm like, "They're Australians."
Yeah. From the people who brought you UGG boots.
Yeah.
Here's some plastic shoes.
UGG boots, pretty
here
comfy.
you go. No,
I never rallied against those because I was always
so you can wear them then.
I always knew I'm like, if my feet ever stop sweating profusely all the time, maybe I'll try out UGG boots.
That's the piece. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go soon, man. My back is killing me.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I'm wiggling around, so you got to read that list because I'm dying here. Welcome to the Dale Show. We're over 40.
We are, and my back is sore too. But I'm like leaning on my elbows. Okay,
I'm doing circles. I keep seeing my head get bigger and smaller in here, and I'm so sorry for our viewers at home or on the YouTubes. I'm very sorry about the.
That's fine.
The constant
motion. It is also 20-9 on a Saturday night, and this is what we're doing.
I need to watch a movie and lay down. Eat some popcorn.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Sorry. Anyway.
Okay, so MRC, the film and television studio MRC, announced on Monday that it would not distribute a recently completed documentary on Ye over his comments, saying it could not support any platform that amplifies his platform, which sounds like everybody who
never heard of it
getting okay behind deplatforming stuff. I think it was just the production company that was going to put out his documentary that got spiked. Okay, Vogue, a spokesperson for the magazine, told Page Six last week that it was and its editor-in-chief, Anna Wintour, do not intend to work with him in the future. CAA, which is basically his agents, were like, we're not working with him. So Adidas, which is the big one, and actually Kanye West, when he was on Drink Champs, he was like, I can say anti-Semitic shit.
That's where that came from. Okay.
And
Adidas
can't drop me. And because they're going to lose a lot of fucking money. So the German multinational retailer announced that Tuesday that it had ended its partnership with Ye, effective immediately, and saying Ye's recent comments and actions have been unacceptable, hateful, and dangerous. Sales and production of his Yeezy branded products have stopped, as well as payments to Ye and his companies. But then the plot thickens, because after that, Adidas was like, Adidas said, it's like, we'll take a $246 million hit in the fourth quarter alone. So the tail end of 2022, they're going to lose $246 million from just not selling Yeezys. And that's how big this was. And that's why Kanye was like, they can't drop me.
Right.
But the fucked up thing,
I can't believe they sold that many of those ugly shoes.
Yeah, I know. The thing that's fucked up is what they said after, because they're like, Adidas, they're like, oh, but we are the sole owner of all design rights of existing products, as well as previous and new colorways under this
they're going to release them under a different name in the future.
Yeah. So colorways are basically just the Yeezys in different colors.
Yeah.
Which boomer me had to look up, because I was like, what the fuck are Yeezy colorways? And it's just like part of what we were talking about. Yeah, the limited release was he would release, like, say Yeezy 700 in 3 colors, and then in 6 months release them in 3 other colors and shit. And it's like the most obnoxious shit ever. But Adidas saying that they're still going to sell those in the future is very telling. And I don't think they should, because if you're so upset that you can't partner with Ye, which he calls himself now,
and I was going to ask you about that. Is that what he's called now? I don't know.
He shortened his name to Ye because it's something to do with religion, and I think it's like his name was Kanye, and Ye is like Kanye, I think, is of Ye, and I think Ye is a reference to Yahweh.
Cool.
Which
I don't care that much.
Anyways, so anyways, them saying that they can't work with him because of the shit he said, so they're gonna stop selling all his shit. But then they're like, oh, but in the future,
also kept his shoes.
All the stuff that we've worked with him on, we're gonna sell, because spoiler alert, we still like money.
Yeah.
I honestly think if Adidas dropped Ye and didn't do anything and didn't sell anything in the future, like it sounds like they're planning to, I think the company might go under.
Wow. Fuck me, really?
Well, if it's making 246 every quarter.
Yeah. I still can't believe that many shoes get sold. That fucking blows my mind.
Well, it's also he does all his clothing through Adidas.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Oh, well, no, and Balenciaga as well, right? Like that's another clothing line. Something was telling in the one that you read earlier, the Anna Wintour one from Vogue. She said she didn't say she's not gonna. We don't intend to work with him in the future. That word intend, dude, I work with language all day. This is what I do, right? She said, I don't intend to work with him in the future. Dale, I don't intend to punch you in the arm, but I might just for fun, right?
That's
or it might happen one day.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just as a joke. It doesn't mean that I like hate you, but I'm going to punch you in the arm. Maybe I don't intend to punch you in the arm, but I might one day, right? I don't intend to work with him in the future.
Yeah.
Right. So just little pieces like that. And that was like the same with Adidas saying like, you know, we're not going to sell this stuff. We're going to take this huge hit. However, we kept all this merchandise and the rights to this merchandise. That doesn't
except
mean
we own the rights.
Except we own the rights to all this stuff.
A little early to say that. Yeah. Like I would have held off on that for like
we're currently not.
Month.
We're currently not. We're currently severing ties with this person. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Karen.
Okay, Gap. The company said Tuesday it was taking immediate steps to remove Yeezy Gap products from their stores and said it had shut down YeezyGap.com, which I had no idea.
Didn't know that existed. Yeah.
Which is just another thing where like, oh, I guess a lot of people buy. And then like you hear about stuff like this, you're like, what the fuck's an Yeezy Gap? But I can't even look.
No, you can't even look at it. Yeah. It's removed from your ability to look at it.
Foot Locker, the retailer, has pulled Yeezy shoes from its sales floor and online store. I like Foot Locker because they took the product out of the store. They're like, not only are we not working with him, we're fucking taking them off the sales floor. That's
a bigger commitment to yeeting yeast to the sun, out of the sun.
Kanyeeted.
That's a headline.
That's what I'm gonna call this. That's what I'm gonna call this episode.
I like it.
TJ Maxx, the department store chain, also rejected Yeezy branded merchandise. At TJ Maxx, we do not tolerate discrimination, harassment, or hate of any kind. We have instructed our buying teams not to purchase this merchandise for sale in any of our stores globally. I don't know, that sounds weird.
So there you go. Again, that's again with that wording. We've instructed them not to. They might still, but we've instructed them not to, but they might still buy it.
Yeah, that's true. That's all the stores that have dropped him. And then he actually had 2 sponsored athletes. Yeah. So Aaron Donald, the Los Angeles Rams defensive lineman, issued a joint statement with his wife Erica on Tuesday evening, announcing they both were severing ties with Yee's Donda Sports marketing agency. Yeah. And
that's the thing, man. A guy like this, he owns a bunch of companies too, right? Like he's gonna he'll be fine financially.
Well, Donda,
it's his mom's
Donda's
name.
Like what's the name of his album? So it's like super confusing.
It's his mom's name.
Oh, because he has Donda Sports. His album was named Donda, and he had a school for gifted athletes called Donda Academy, and that closed and then opened, then closed again. So it's all very up in the air at this point. Jaylen Brown, the Boston Celtics basketball player, issued a statement Tuesday evening announcing his departure from Donda Sports. I have always and will always continue to stand strongly against any anti-Semitism, hate speech, misrepresentation, and oppressive rhetoric of any kind. Ooh, I like that you put in rhetoric in there. That's a good word.
rhetoric. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, I think we're done.
Man.
Oh, wait. Sorry, you're back, so I know you want to go. I'm going to close out with Kanye's comments that the most recent comments I could find. I think these were from either yesterday or today. And he said, I'm being humbled by me being burned to the flesh every single day. It's actually proving what I have to say. You're not supposed to be backhanded compliments. West added, he then once again equated the Holocaust to Planned Parenthood, saying that the number of Jews killed in Nazi Germany paled in comparison to the number of Black people killed by abortion. He also said his mental health issues were misdiagnosed by a Jewish doctor that would have had me on medication right now. If I was on medication right now, then one pill could have been swapped out and it would have been Prince or Michael Jackson all over again. But because I didn't take the medication, I am able to speak to you guys clear of thought and transparently. You can't go too hard once you get into conspiracies, my guy.
Yeah, dude.
It fucks you up.
Ask Dale, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta.
Yeah.
Like people are like, hey, what do you talk about on your podcast? I'm like, well, sure.
Yeah. I can't remember who I was watching a comedian who was talking about I think it was Patton Oswalt actually.
Mm-hmm.
He was saying that, like, of course there's a bunch of conspiracy theory people again. You locked everybody in the house for 2 years with the internet. Like, yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, you got a lot of time to think about the things, the way things are. But yeah, I mean, I've said this a million times. I like the idea of conspiracy theories, but I think you're right. I think there are people pulling certain strings. There's systems of power put in place to keep people where they are. That I don't think that is a conspiracy at all.
That's why I started referring to myself as a conspiracy enthusiast. It was a joke one day, and then I was like, wait, I like the sound of that because
language is good. It's intentional.
I do believe in conspiracies, and I like last episode when we were talking about false flags, there are provable conspiracies that did happen and were found out. So conspiracies are real. You can't say they're not real, but you got to watch out, because if conspiracies are real, then it makes sense that the government or the Illuminati or whoever's in charge would make fake conspiracies to make you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
So it delegitimizes everything else you talk about.
So I think you're right. I think you're accurate in your assessment that you're not a conspiracy theorist, because you're not proposing the theories. You are an enthusiast because you like following the theories.
Yeah.
I think a conspiracy theorist is someone who creates the conspiracy or brings
I
to
could
light
make some up.
Yeah, but
sounds
you
like
haven't
a challenge, Jeff.
I know. I'm throwing the gauntlet down. You haven't made a conspiracy yourself. You're reporting. You're basically journaling about conspiracies, which makes you a conspiracy enthusiast.
Yeah.
You haven't. A conspiracy theorist is someone who brings it to the forefront or creates that thought.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not saying that you haven't had an original thought. I'm simply saying you haven't made a conspiracy yet.
Nobody said you said that. Why would you say you haven't said that? Are you thinking that and making a conscious effort not to say it out loud, Jeff?
Creating a conspiracy.
I have a universe inside of me.
You absolutely have a universe inside of you. And maybe a couple of sausages. I don't know. Shit. All right.
Yeah, that's it. That's good.
I got it.
That was good.
That's a good way to end. I'm sorry. I got to get out of here. My back is.
That's fine. We went an hour and a half on what was supposed to be a shorter show, but that's good.
Yeah, it's us. We're talking. It's good.
Back to the mechanics of all this. I guess we could just, since it's the Dale Show and I made it vague so I could do whatever I want whenever I want, look forward to possible updates in the future.
Sweet. Okay. All right.
I was also thinking about, when I was thinking about this, because other podcasts do this thing where they get money for podcasting. I was like, that sounds dope. And one of the things they do is they have their PayPal, but they have behind the paywall shows. So I was thinking maybe
some of the update shows, the like really, they're paywall shows.
I was thinking maybe we do short update shows and then put them behind the paywall, because I feel bad. I don't like try to make people listen or pay to the Patreon not only because we don't have enough listeners, but because it's so sporadic when the episodes come out, I'd feel bad.
Yeah.
But if there's like a short update that people can go to and get if they pay. So I'm thinking about that. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, totally. And there's another way. Yeah, there's another thing you can do. Oh, we can talk about that offline. I forgot you're still recording. We're thinking this out loud. I was just thinking like there's other things we could do, like where if people want us to research a specific thing or talk about a specific thing, they can donate to, like, I want to hear about this. Here's pitch us $5 and we'll research a story for you. Probably.
Totally. Yeah. If anybody wants me to talk about anything specific or go back to something I talked about in the past that I've maybe brought up on the side, or a specific thing about that, I'm totally into it. Like the whole reason this podcast exists is because I was listening to an audiobook about the Anunnaki and I was like, I gotta look into this. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna go research something. I'm not in college. There's no point. And I was like, well, I could do another podcast. So the podcast is more of like the carrot on the stick that I'm looking forward to, and is the reason why I research stuff. So it's kind of like
it gives you a reason to read. Yeah, you don't research a lot of things on welding. About
motivation.
That's motivation. Yeah, so how to not burn myself.
I have a universe inside of me.
Universe inside of it. It's got a universe in there. Yeah. Dale.
So the PayPal is, or the Patreon is the Dale Show on the Patreon site. You can find me on Twitter at SuperDaleBot. You can find Jeff on Twitter
at Mr. Goats.
Oh yeah, something I wanted to talk to you. If there's ever a time, because you have a professional career that might care about stuff. If it's ever too hot, I'll take the heat.
Okay.
Nobody give Jeff heat over conspiracy shit.
You know, I play the straight man anyway. It doesn't matter. I'm just here. I'm here as a comedic foil, and I'm doing a half-assed job of it. So yeah.
When you said you play the straight man, it reminded me on the Lex Friedman podcast. Lex is actually Jewish, and he does give pushback to Kanye, and it is good. So it's not just like a little ball tug for each guy trying to, but it's like Lex actually does take him to task. So it's actually a really good podcast.
Okay, interesting.
I forgot what else. Oh yeah, if you're just listening to this and you want to see our lovely faces, sometimes I add graphics. I might add some graphics into this. There wasn't anything that needs graphics. But anyways, go on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search The Dale Show or Outrage Factory because they're all in the same feed. Yeah, that's it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Oh, and if you do like and subscribe, write a review. Just give us 5 stars or however many stars you think we deserve, because I have enough stars in the universe that's inside of me. I don't need more. But
leave me to it.
If you do give us stars, just write a review, because it tricks the algorithm into bumping us up. You don't even have to say how handsome I am or how much you like my new mustache.
You could. Yeah.
Just be like, this is good, and leave it.
Totally. That Dale sure is handsome. He's like a young Sam Elliott. Oh my God.
Okay. Oh, we came up with a catchphrase at the end. What was it? You came up with it.
Oh, it was last episode. I forget now.
Was see you on the internet?
Oh yeah, and we'll see you on the internet.
There you go.
Was it something like that? Thanks for tuning into the Dale Show, and we'll see you on the internet.